I think. I felt reading my watch like 10 times today. I walked around at 7 a.m. here trying to find someone because it was 9 a.m. So, yeah. This is the When Chrome and Android talk, and I'm Sawyer. This is my first YAPC, both attending and giving a talk. This was Gabbo's idea. If anything happens to fail, I'm going to blame him. You're welcome to join me. We could be an angry mob together. So, okay, actually, on the advice of other people, I'm going to try and record this, if that's okay, and see if it goes well. It should be somewhere around here. Where is it? Oh, there we go. Try to record my desktop, and we're gonna try to record it and see how it goes. So, hopefully well. So, the first thing I'm gonna do is say a bit about myself. Oh, the background looks horrible. The background is actually this picture. So, use your imagination, okay? So, a few words about me. I'm Sawyer. I also use the moniker Sawyer X as my full name, or full moniker, I guess. I am a sysadmin / Perl Ninja. This is my job description at work. Perl Ninja, thank you. I'm thinking about putting out cards, so I might do that. And I basically administer roughly 200 machines, and I write applications in Perl to manage the systems on those machines. And I do some different work offline, some in web. I have a CPAN page on searchcpan.org. You can find my username, and I write modules and applications, frameworks. I work on Dancer as well, and other stuff. And I also help maintain and develop other programs and modules. I have a blog that I try to keep updated, and hopefully it's interesting enough for some people to read. It's on blogsperl.org. And I guess that's about all I can say about me. I want to talk about Android, and I guess the first question would be, what is Android? In case some of the people here don't know. So first of all, Android is a GNU Linux-based operating system, okay? It is developed by Google for mobile devices. And it has a Java UI framework. It is basically a GNU Linux operating system that has a layer of Java on top of it to provide the UI, okay? All the GUI and all the other stuff. And you can just get it for a mobile device. A few statistics about Android. In the first quarter of 2010 in the US, the Smartphone OS survey shows that BlackBerry OS has the first place, holding 36%. Android already has the second place, holding 28%. And iOS, which runs on iPhone, is on the third place, holding 21%. This is the NPD group study. There are other studies that show that Android is not in the second place, nor the third, nor the fourth, nor the fifth. But what they all show is a rapid increase of usage in Android. And it's grown very rapidly. A few more statistics that might be interesting, maybe not. It is the second most popular mobile development target. It has over 70,000 applications already available for Android, and considering the short amount of time it exists, that's quite a lot. About 60,000 Android devices are sold daily, about 22 million a year, and about 60% of the Android applications are free compared to iPhone's 25%. If you've used iPhone, you went to the iPhone store, you can find that most applications cost money, and Android has Android Market, and most of the applications there do not cost money, which is it's kind of cool. And the US itself makes up 65% of the entirety of Android devices out there. So, a few features that Android has. If you have any questions, by the way, you can just raise your hand and I'll try to answer them. I don't know everything, but I might know something and maybe, hopefully, answer to questions. First feature is that it's free. It's not very surprising, but it is pretty important. And you can find any version of the operating system available for free to download for any mobile device that you have. Hopefully it is supported as well. It is Linux-based, and if you've ever used Linux, then you know how important it is for things to be Linux-based. When it is Linux-based, we can do so much more with it, and we can plug it into so much more applications, and it's using kernel that is developed communally and has a lot of features in it, and it's easy to push new features. Android is currently being developed on a separate branch of Linux, but they've already hired kernel developers to help consolidate that branch into the main one and provide all the features and changes that they have to the kernel backend. And once they get that through, they'll probably be able to upgrade to more recent Linux kernels and provide even more features for the actual device physically. It is open source. You can find the source online. It is hosted in Git repository, which I guess is ++. I like Git. And that is very important, okay? Because then you can patch things, you can't see the source, you can't find bugs. It's much easier, it works, and no one is actually after you for violating something, or you don't have to hex edit anything, and that's pretty good. It is community driven in the sense that the community drives a lot of the changes in Android. They supply patches, whether for bug fixes or for features and things like that. They have a lot of requests that are being answered, and they try to drive the motivation using Android and the popularity of it. You can find the community online on IRC. There's a regular channel on IRC for Android users, and there's another one for Android developers exclusively. And I think there are a few more, but I'm not sure. I haven't really delved into it. And the community is also available in different forums online that have a really big presence, which is really important. It has a pretty UI. I'll admit it's not as pretty as the iPhone one. It's hard to top off the iPhone one. But it does have a pretty UI. It has sliding menus, it has rotating options, and it has all these sensors and tappings and all that sort of stuff. This specific device is really cute. Bill was actually outside, but he purchased this. And it is competitive and much better looking than most cell phones, I think. And it is well supported. There are currently over 71 companies worldwide that create cell phones that support Android devices, and you would probably find an Android-based device, at least one, in the company that you work with and purchase your cell phone from. The company that I work with, they have at least two, and they're a small company compared to companies abroad. And one last thing, it has an emulator. And that's a really important feature for an operating system for mobile devices, because you're not going to program on a small mobile device. You're not going to compile your programs on your cell phone, I hope, at least. And it does have an emulator with the development tools provided with it, which is really fun because then you can write it on your laptop or on your desktop or your computer at home, at work, maybe. So that's a really important feature that I thought was worth mentioning. It has a few obstacles, I guess. These are obstacles that, well, these are the things that I found as obstacles. There are some things like much better UI, but I don't really care about those. The obstacles that I found is, first of all, it's written in Java. Okay, it isn't that the operating system entirely is written in Java because it's running Linux. It has a Linux kernel, but the UI is written in Java, okay? Another obstacle I found was, unfailingly, that it is using Java, and even the third one, but that it was still using Java. And that means if you want to write an application, you have to use Java. And that makes me very sad, I don't like using Java. I don't know. I'm not a Java hater, even though it would be really easy for me to do that, but I'm not. I just really like Perl. I know about, I guess, 10, 12 languages, and the only one I really enjoy is Perl. So I try to stick with that. And if I have two choices, one would be to write an application for my cell phone in Java, and the other one would be to not write an application, I would choose not write an application, because I don't enjoy writing Java. And a few other languages I won't go into. So if you're going to use the UI, which is the most of the things you're going to want is an option for the user to enter text or a pop-up box or things like that, and you're going to have to use Java, and that sucks. So this is where SL4A comes in. SL4A stands for Scripting Layer for Android. And it was formerly known as ASE, which is Android Scripting Environment. It's currently in the midst of renaming and rebranding to better reflect the purposes of this project. So you might find ASE mentioned a few times. It's still available online in search results. But the new official name is SL4A. If I use anything with ASE attached to it, you should know that it stands for SL4A now. And it should in the future. Some things haven't been ported yet, haven't been renamed, haven't been rebranded, but that's the new name. What it is a Java bridge between dynamic languages interpreters and Android. And by Android, I mean the GUI layer of Android that is written in Java. It has an RPC server, a JSON-based RPC server, that serializes object methods and parameters to JSON, sends it to the RPC server, and then runs that in a Java environment using the UI. So you basically use an object and send it, use a method and send parameters, it serializes it to JSON, sends it to the RPC server, and the RPC server then runs it, and you can see the result on the screen. And that allows you to write in whatever dynamic language interpreter that is supported, write an application that will have an entire UI, or at least whatever is supported meanwhile, which isn't everything, but it's quite a lot. Some people ask me about rooted phones. I guess this is a major issue with iPhone. I don't have that problem. I don't know. I have a Galaxy device that I'm willing to showcase a bit, and I don't need to root it or to do anything nasty to it. But in case someone asks, you do need root, but only to install new interpreters. Okay? Any questions? Nothing? Okay, good. So you're gonna only need root to do this. Afterwards, I think you can run it quite well. It already supports Python, JRuby, Perl, Lua, JavaScript, and a few more. There is a ticket for Parrot, so we can run Perl 6 on it, Bakudo at least. And there is a ticket, I think, for Haskell, which I don't know how much it's going to get, and one for PHP as well, which is really important for everyone who wants to write a GUI application in PHP for phones. Okay. Was that clear? Okay, good. And basically what it means is that we can write a barcode scanner in 6 lines, and those are 6 lines that include a new object and the use line, and it will use the camera to scan it, and then it will go to a website and search for that barcode that it found, which is pretty nifty, you have to admit. 6 lines. I think 6 lines in Java is just hello world. Okay, so this is pretty good. This is pretty good. And it is actually advertised as a method to have mock-up applications just to see how your real application is going to behave, but people already wrote some interesting things. So, which I'll show at least one of them. So what can you do on the SL4A? What is supported? First of all, TTS is supported, text-to-speech, which is basically when you give a parameter with a request and like a string or something, and then the phone speaks, which is really nice.